Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Joe, it's none of my business where you went at 5:30 this morning-ish out of the studio. But we have very specific jobs in this studio as a show, as a well-oiled machine, and especially between 4:30 and 6, okay?
Yeah.
One of yours, and in my life, it is very important, okay? Curbs has stuff on her mind, okay? She's here. She shows up. We've joked forever on this show about, you know, the Kool-Aid mascot. She comes through the door. She's got stories to tell, things to get off her chest, like the moment she walks in, right? Okay, fine. You have many jobs in this building. You are a pillar in this building, okay? I'm just going to say it. One of the key jobs in my life that you do, and you are so graceful at it, is you listen to Kirby in the morning, especially between 5 and 6. Like, you are here, and she will bomb you with stuff, and you handle it no problem. When you left the studio, and you do this every now and then, you don't go, sometimes it's quick, usually it's quick, but you left for a little, like a length of time. None of my business where you went.
5:45.
Okay.
I was back by 5:52.
Okay.
And
I panicked.
well, I thought
What the hell? What do you mean you panicked?
I
started
thought she got
talking to
it
me.
all out, left it on the field.
No,
before I
God
left.
forbid I talk to you.
There was things on her mind, and the longer you're gone, I know that I'm going to get called out of the bullpen to chat her up. And I'm like, Joe, where the hell are you? Like, what is going on here?
I thought she left it all out on the field before I left the room.
I did just find my grade 2 report card the other day, and it did say that in grade 2, Shalinda has no shortage of words.
Yeah, we all, I think if you are in radio, like, I love your report card. Like that report card.
Yeah.
If you polled radio people across the country, stand-up comedians, you can throw actors, actresses, that report card that you and it's very funny, but we all have that. Like, it's like they loved it. They talk too much.
Did yours say does not like to be talked to before 6 a.m.?
No, it did not. That's a new thing, probably on the wrong side of 40.
What did I talk to you about?
You were talking about some NHLers and their weddings.
Oh, I was trying to bond. See? That's what happens, okay?
Wow.
Phil,
I missed out on that.
You missed
Joe,
it.
you were gone, so I picked a topic in my head of something that I thought Phil and I could jive with. Okay?
Weddings.
NHL weddings.
No, it was proposals. These NHLers and their proposals. My
Yes.
God, they're
They're spectacles.
They're all extravagant. And I wish I had a joke because I could see her talking to me. So I have headphones on. In my defense, I'll defend myself. There's 25 phone calls a day. And we love them. Keep them coming. But I'm like, every one of them has 3 or 4 beeps. There's a lot to do before the show starts, phone wise. So I'm glad, and I can see her talking to me, and and that's where I need a Joe buzzer. Hurry up, whatever you're doing in the kitchen, get back here.
Well, he's back.
I apologize. I don't know what for.
Don't ever leave the studio
But don't
again.
ever leave. And Kirby, you gave me a couple of items that weren't as high end as NHL weddings. I'm going to tell you that right now.
What do you mean?
I got to find out about your friend's building downtown getting flooded. Hold on. What else did I get?
How I make my bed every morning.
How you make your bed
that
every
came
morning.
up, yeah.
Hold on. And I got, I got to buy a ticket. JJ Wild is coming to town. And I didn't think there was going to be a Winnipeg date on the tour. That's what I got.
Yeah.
NHL weddings. I'll save that till Joe's out of the room.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Pissed off? Well, then get the off Twitter and call the bone phone.
Don't make me look up from my phone.
780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
I get it. Traffic and construction sucks in summer, but don't be the guy or girl who's the last person to try to jam through the intersection, and then you're stuck halfway through and the light is red. That makes you a douche.
I love Dennis the Menace. Excuse me, Dennis the Menace. He's a great caller, great regular. I will mildly disagree with him there. I don't think everybody who jams into those intersections, I don't think they're doing it on purpose sometimes, like being a douche. I just think traffic is busy, you're waiting, and you literally think I'll get through. Like eventually this line will move. The light just went green. There's no way I'm going to sit here in this intersection the entirety of the green light and not get out of this intersection. And then you pull out of the intersection, which you shouldn't do. And next thing you know, you're still sitting there and the light goes red. And you're like, oh, please take me away. I'm so embarrassed. Like sometimes.
Sure, there's other factors. It could be traffic coming the other way that run the yellow.
Yeah.
Right? Take their time coming through. Sure.
But we appreciate the call, and I feel his pain. A call is still in traffic here from McPhillips.
What is with people that drive McPhillips? Yes, there is a bus lane, but it's only between 7, 9, 3:30, 5:30. That's it. Rest of the time, it's a lane you can use to travel, to park, to, I don't know, not sit in a forever lineup while this giant open lane. I mean, hey, I'm happy to use it. No big deal. You guys stay over there, twiddle your thumbs. But, I don't know, you might get down the road a little bit faster if you use all of the lanes. If it's the fact of you don't know how to read military time, well, then I guess you should probably go back to grade 1 and learn how to read a clock. Because, yeah, everybody knows how to read a clock.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of signs that are like, okay, between this time and this time, you can't do this. And between this time and this time, you can't go in this lane.
Get confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no right. No
He's
right
telling
turn.
you then not to drive down McPhillips.
And you know what? I actually don't visit McPhillips as often as I should.
Okay, you're good then. No,
You're
it's
good.
it's all over the city though.
Yes.
Those signs, right? No right turn between these times. Okay, old Eddie, and we get the odd call. People will usually it's one of our regulars. Answer the phone. Why don't you answer the phone? Vinny's notorious for that one. Guilty. He'll bug us too. It's not. We're not ignoring the phone. Sometimes there's just other things going on here in the studio. Anyway, old Eddie, he's always got our backs.
Yeah, it really bugs me, these people who complain you don't answer your phone. Don't they realize that all of Winnipeg is listening? And,
Exactly.
they call up, and you're one little radio station, and you have all of big Winnipeg calling, trying to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, leave a message on the phone. And hi to Kirby.
That's my man.
Yeah.
it is.
Sometimes we're sitting here and I'm trying to explain you military time. Starts like with 12:30, you minus the 5:30, you figure out what the time is. But Eddie was there for you.
And he's a patient man.
I think he was defending. It was more about Kirby. I love Eddie, but I don't think he gives a rat's ass if you and I are taking heat from listeners about answering the phone.
You're 100%
that
right.
was about Kirby there. He big fan.
He gets me.
Yeah, he gets you. Okay, Siren. Now this is, I think, like this almost. He called a couple times last week.
I'm waiting for the sound effect.
Yeah, it's intense.
Siren here. Greatest morning show going. Just want to say, people out there, if someone is flashing you the bright dims, don't give them a hi, how are you wave. It's because your damn headlights and taillights are off. Smarten up. Learn how to turn them on properly. Have a great weekend. Be careful out there and stay off your phones while driving. Never know who could be behind you.
Wow.
Wow.
It goes on another 10 seconds.
That is insane.
I'll tell you what, that's even more impressive than getting pulled over with that siren. That thing sounds like an air raid.
It does.
That's amazing.
We should take cover or something for a tornado.
If only the people behind Police Academy knew what the siren could do, I'll tell you, Winslow there would have been out of work.
Oh, man. Okay, we found out, was it today's only Tuesday? Yeah, last week about the cell phone ban in schools and the hooligan with an interesting point about that.
Just about the cell phone ban in kindergarten to grade 8, I think it was. Just imagine now how busy the office is going to be with call after call after call from parents and so forth for leaving messages for the children. have to hire a whole new switchboard now just to handle all these calls. I mean, it's a good idea. And also, I mean, like my son, always on the phone when he was in school. But, yeah, I mean, just the calls and calls these officers are going to be getting daily. I need a message from my son, daughter, etc. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm going to go wash my truck now. Whee! Okay, bye.
I've never met somebody that enjoys such a clean vehicle like the hooligan, but at the same time, I do want to say that I would imagine that they're not going to be calling, leaving messages like, can you tell little Jimmy that, you know, I'm not going to be home after school. Like, you can leave them a message on their phone and they can look at it at the end of the school day.
That's true. That's a good point, actually, Kirby. There are, lots of things that the kids used to use their phones. But if they're sick and they have to go home, they would just tell the office, and then they could walk out of the school and, hey, Mom, come get me. I'm not feeling well. So, yeah, I see.
I don't see like there being like a job created. Well, there's so many calls coming in. We got to like have a switchboard worker in these offices.
Listen, I went to school when there was no cell phones. I don't recall my parents ever leaving a message. Okay? The message was loud and clear when you got home. Okay? So I think we'll be okay.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
World Mosquito Day. Thank you, Kirby. We will, our thoughts are with the mosquitoes today.
I just like to think about everybody.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, no, that's right.
Including the things that are annoying and bite us.
They're an important part of the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So I'm told.
But why here in Manitoba and not the rest of the world?
Well, I think they're bad in other parts of the world.
Canada.
Right?
Yeah.
No, they have them in like, don't they give them malaria in like...
Yes.
Like Vietnam, aren't they really bad too? I don't know. I clearly have never
no
been to
idea.
Vietnam. But they were terrible. Like we were kind of saying off air, it wasn't a terrible mosquito season. There was that one run. I remember being at Winnipeg Beach for some camping, and they were pretty bad. Like we had the mosquito coils everywhere. Lots of mosquito repellent.
And then they sprayed.
Mm-hmm.
They sprayed here in June?
Yeah.
Or early July, I think.
Yeah.
After that rain stopped because they were delayed for a bit. And things have been pretty good. It's wasp season now. That's what today should be.
We referenced this yesterday. Joe and I both put the wasp traps out in our yards over the weekend. Not terrible yet, though. Like typically, like I put mine out on the weekend, I would say Sunday. And normally I put that thing out like when they're bad. And I'll go back 2 hours later, and there's 20 of them in there. I'm not seeing that right now. There's like 3 or 4 in there. But it gets really bad in our yard because we've got the apple tree, and they love that thing.
Yeah.
Is that where you pinned the...
In the area of the apple
Yeah,
tree.
you have to. Yeah, for sure.
My neighbor said he wants some of our apples if we're not going to use them. They just...
Yes.
I don't know what to do because even when I grab them off the tree, they're all like, you can tell bugs have been at them. Like they get at them so bad, it makes them unedible.
I grew up with crabapple trees. 2 types, the bigger round ones that you can eat, and then the smaller ones that people would use for jelly and everything else. Worst thing ever, when those apples would drop come fall time, and you'd have to rake them up all the time. Because as soon as they get soft, they start to smell too.
Yes.
And ripen.
Ferment.
Oh my God, yes. In the ground. It's brutal on the grass.
We've talked about your apples before on the show. There's so many people that would take apples, though. Like, for every person that doesn't like their apples in their yard, there's like 20 people that are like, I'll take your apples.
That's right. But I got to get on the stepladder and start picking the nice red ones. And because once they fall,
good.
They're done because the bugs get at them instantly.
Now, are you going to be making crabapple jelly and that kind of stuff, or wine? Some people make wine with crab apples.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
I'm going to be coming in here with jars of jam.
And your own hooch. Awesome. See you at the St. Norbert Market selling your wares.
My own
Philly's night market in Transcona.
Market.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Can I bring up Pearl Jam?
Yeah,
Can
go
I bring
ahead.
up the song of the day?
Yeah.
I can tell you right now that you want to be listening a few times today, but one of them happens to be with the PJK Rewind tonight at 7 o'clock. You can hear some of the stuff from the mornings if you missed the mornings because your work schedule or whatever.
Yeah.
That Pearl Jam song, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town, coming up tonight for sure.
Tremendous.
Speaking of elderly women, myself,
Oh, God.
going to bed at 7 p.m. Just a thought this morning as I was getting up, though, like, it's just part of what I do every single day as I get ready to leave the house is I make my bed. And I'm like, man, nobody ever comes over. And I live by myself, but yet I take the time to like put each and every, decorative pillow that I have on the bed and then fold all the sheets. And then so like when I get home tonight and I go down for bed, it's like I can like pull the sheets back. It's like so... It's a nice feeling to have.
To make it every day.
I do. It was like how I was raised. My dad taught me about hospital corners on the beds.
Wow.
Like he
Heavy
was like,
duty. Wow.
Yeah, he ran a tight ship. So.
Well, the beds are made. My wife wouldn't have it any other way. So our bed is made every day. She barks at the boys to make their beds. But I can tell you, if I was batching it, like for whatever reason, I'm solo, just Phil Aubrey, there's no way I'm making my bed every day. Just no way. Unless someone might be coming over later or something like that. Then I might make it. But
then you wash the sheets and then make it.
Clean the shower.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm the minority in this room because I used to growing up. My mother made me do my bed for sure, but it was part of the day. But now I just kind of rearranged the top layer. What's it called?
the sheet
quilt
or the
not the quilt.
the comforter.
Comforter. I just kind of re-spread it out.
Yeah.
I move pillows all over the place, but yeah, I'm just kind of lazy.
Just a mess of a bed over there, JoJo.
Yeah.
So Christy doesn't make the bed before she leaves the house?
Yeah, she does. But
okay,
I don't.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
I'm not making
just
a bed.
kind of, and yet I'm quite OCD when it comes to pretty much everything else. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why. But
you and I leave so early. So it's not where there's no way we're making that bed in the morning, right? With someone in it.
I mean, I've done it.
Oh, no, hospital corners.
Yeah.
I've done it
right
with my
in.
ex in bed. I've made my side of the bed. I was like,
Really?
yes.
Oh, man, that would drive me crazy.
Well,
Like, get out of here.
They're no longer together.
So much explained, eh?
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
I think having plants around the house is good for your mental health.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think I think that's a known fact, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, probably.
Like
Plants are
gardening.
good.
Gardening's very cathartic and
plants.
therapeutic, too.
They're very...
And the greenery.
Yeah.
I can see what it's done for my dad's well-being. Hold on. Let's see how the conversation went. Yeah, Dad. Yeah, I'll come by and pick up the green beans. How are the tomatoes? Oh, damn tomatoes. They didn't come in this year. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't even know if I'll plant tomatoes next year. Really good for his well-being.
But he's from that generation where you're pissed off about everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. You're not...
Take it out on the tomatoes.
He didn't start a garden because he thought it would be good for his mental health.
No, he didn't. My friend right here, the plant
Right here,
lady.
though. She thinks plants are good for mental health.
Well,
with the
my
water spray bottle.
hairstylist gave me, it started with like 2 plants, okay? She said, if you can keep these 2 alive, then I'll give you 1 more. And I kept those 2 alive for the longest time. And now I've got 3 of them that are thriving. So much so, yesterday I had to go pick up some soil and other pots, and I had to repot them because they've grown so big.
Yeah, no, I've heard that too with planting and as you mentioned. But listen, my buddy Benny just brought in some gardening seeds to give to your son Tom, who's got his garden.
Thanks for mentioning
and
that.
even some from my dad. So I texted him. I said, hey, thanks a lot. He dropped them off at the house the other day.
I got to say, so yes, my youngest, who would be 11 years old. 11. He's going to be 11.
His birthday's coming up next week.
That's right. Yeah, I got to remember these things. But
I'll remind you.
Joe knows.
Yeah, he will.
Well, it's the 25th.
He also knows your kid's
He'll bring
social
a card.
insurance numbers.
Right?
And,
The kid gets a card
blood
on
type.
the 25th. It's on a weekend. I got to get it to him. Never mind the blood type, okay? This is about cash.
But my son, a couple of years ago, he had, and this is the influence, and your girl's a teacher, Christy's a teacher, and the influence a teacher can have. He didn't give a rat's ass about gardening, anything like that, until a couple of years ago, one of his teachers, Madame Allard, and she, in addition to everything else they do in school, she got them all helping with a garden, a class garden, where they would grow things and learn about that kind of stuff. And ever since that time in his life, he has been super into gardening. He has one every summer. He shows us the tomatoes, the peppers.
Yeah.
He's pulling big cucumbers out of this thing.
Oh my God, good for him.
Yeah, and he's right into it. So I always look back, and every time I see Madame Allard, this teacher that he had, I go and I make sure I mention to her, like, good on you. Like, and you obviously you got to teach them, math and English and read books and all that stuff. But little extras like that, I love that.
Nothing tastes better than something that you've grown on your own and like you've gotten to see it come to fruition.
Listen, I'm not going to tell you how to be with your kids, okay? You're a great dad. But keeping the kids set up on Highway 59 with a veggie stand to sell his vegetables, he's a little young for that.
Get out there and sell. Okay, get the puppy dog eyes going. Let's go.
This water you're using to the garden, it doesn't come for free.
That's PJK Extra. And thank your buddy, Benny, for now. Well, I know Benny. But thank you so much. Okay, I didn't get a chance to play this in the Bone Phone an hour ago, but I want to roll it out. It's our good buddy Guilty, and he is pumped about the Burt Block Party, specifically Saturday night, 92.1 City Night.
I'm just going to throw this out there. If you're still deciding whether you want to hit the Burt Block Party on any of the nights, but Saturday night, there are not many tickets left, and the promoters are suggesting this will be the biggest ever as far as population. So you want to get your tickets before Saturday. You don't want to try and get them at the door, is what I'm saying, because they have been available at the door in past years. There's going to be a lot of people. So if you can, purchase them before you get there Saturday.
That is a great idea. Yeah, pre-plan a little bit. Okay, so there is a little bit of a movement behind the scenes here for Kirby to go to, because we're going to the Burt Block Party on Saturday. She would like, initially it was I going to pick her up on the way? We've done that before. Kirby and I carpooled because of me Transcona, her St. B. It just works, but I cannot now because I'm on location on Saturday and I'm going pretty much straight to the show. So now she's wondering about you, Joe, and what your guys' plans are going to be before the show. And something came up yesterday about you guys possibly, Kirby coming, or you going to Kirby's apartment in St. B.
This is her idea.
This is her idea. You park in your vehicle there, and then you two, top buddies that you are, walking to the show from her apartment.
And I looked at the forecast. Sorry, Curbs. And I did mention it's going to be sunny and 31 during the day, low of 17 in the evening. And I'm not really in the mood to be that sweaty just getting to the concert.
Well, that's okay, because I've changed my mind.
Okay, hold up. Before we get to you changing your mind, let's play this call.
I must have missed it this morning. There is a certain amount of work that we do in a day, but hey, listen, that walking from St. B to the Burt, Joe, I can't believe you're doing that.
You're right.
But if you're doing it, Joe, I'm doing it with you. I'll walk with you in the Curbster, right? And then Philly, you're coming from Transcona. There we go. The Burt Walk.
The Burt Walk. We've got a name now.
Oh, I love it, but that's I gotta tell you about my thoughts.
Yeah, just remember, because Guilty missed this part, I had said no to the walk right from the beginning. But you've changed your mind for both of us, apparently. So here, I can hardly wait.
Unlike some people, I go home and I think about us hanging out after, the show.
Well, yeah.
Like this morning, I was doing my eyebrows and I was like, oh man, that's a bad idea. Because I actually thought in my head, I don't know why, Burt Block Party was at Blue Cross Park. I don't know why. I thought it was there in my head.
I said nothing to you when you said, oh, it's like a 20-minute walk to my house.
Yes, because Blue Cross Park is way closer than walking all the way to the Burt. So we got to restructure the plan. What I'm thinking is you're going to come in from Charleswood.
Yeah, okay.
You can just loop around St. B.
Okay, halt. I want to get... Okay, so coming in from Charleswood, loop around St. B. Keep going.
And then you're going to pick me up because, yes, it's 31 degrees.
Pick Kirby
this
up.
face is going to melt. I actually bought a handheld fan for the day. And I'll let you use it if you pick me up. And then if you pick me up and then my face won't melt and then we can go there together. You can pay the parking and it will be good.
What do you think? That's a good plan. I mean, there's a lot of it. What I like about this plan is there's a lot in it for you, Joe.
And nothing in it for you. That's what you like about this
Sorry, I
plan.
wish I could help, but I can't.
He's coming in late.
Yeah.
I think he's coming late a few times.
Yeah.
The Christmas party, the Burt Block Party. I'm starting to think you're avoiding picking me up.
No.
He's actually legitimately doing something.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I will say this. There might be a ticket available for sale for the Burt Block Party. Just one on Saturday night right now. I'm still debating this.
Joe!
My ticket might become available.
You're my number one buddy.
No, I know. I want to stay there. I really do.
You are not selling it.
Didn't you see the part of the ticket when it came in from Ticketmaster saying that this comes with you being a driving service for Kirby that night?
Well, that comes with being my number one buddy.
In my entire life, I've never had this commitment with a woman that I'm not dating.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
One of the favorite phone calls we receive before Bomber home games is when we answer the phone and the person on the other end of the phone says, "Hey, it's Rylan from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We got a food drop-off for you guys, some food to try so you can let the fans know what they're going to get if they want it at the stadium." And this week, another one that didn't disappoint, pulled pork poutine. Yum.
Yeah. They come up with some neat stuff.
Smells good.
Yeah. Bombers, Ticats, Friday night, Princess Auto Stadium.
There's a couple of layers to this game here, too. The Bombers are on a bit of a roll, as you know, but it's 90s night. Winnipeg's own Fred Penner is performing at halftime. And something important with school just around the corner. I hate to say that for some, but some are looking forward to getting back to see their friends and such. Mm-hmm. But there's a school supply drive presented by First Student. So they're going to have bins at all the gates set up. The First Student bus is going to be outside Gate 3. If you are going to the game, you can donate school supplies, obviously, for kids that could use a little bit of a winning edge and the right stuff to get their school year started. So that's cool.
I was just trying to look for Chris Strevler had a video of him in the change room, I guess, after the game.
Locker room.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You know, where they get changed
Where you
after
try
the
on
game.
clothes at the mall. Change room.
How many items was he allowed to bring in?
God.
I've got four.
One's a fur coat.
He would.
We knew what you meant.
But yes, he was like, hyping up the guys after the game, and he was wearing, I can't remember what was on his shirt. It was a funny shirt he had on anyways. I think it might have been a Costco shirt. It had a Costco hot dog on it, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Kirkland?
Yeah, Kirkland
brand?
hot dog. Yeah, and I just thought, good for Strevler, rocking the Costco hot dogs.
He's a beauty. I will say this, the most dangerous sub 500 in the CFL right now. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers look like they've got their act together. After a rough start to the season, the defense, and we all know defense wins championships, is looking stout. Probably the best defense in the CFL right now. Caleros was starting to look like old Caleros the last couple of games, hitting his receivers. He got Lawler back. I think the Bombers, they're getting on that roll we've been waiting for.
Yeah, healthy weapons on offense, too, and the defense has been rolling. Listen, I mentioned this. They didn't give them enough credit during the broadcast on Sunday night, but this Bomber defense and under Jordan Younger and that have really bonded, I guess, and come together, gelled over the last few weeks.
Yeah, good point.
They're forced to be reckoned with.
On Jordan Younger, because he's new to the equation this year.
And O'Shea just hit his milestone celebration.
Boom. Yeah. They're going to honor him on the big screen.
And he's going to be like very
he
shy.
He won't like it.
He'll
be focus on the game.
Yep.
And make sure you get the pulled pork poutine. Tell the chef at the game.
That's hard to say.
Tell the chef.
If you get there early for the tailgate, you go right up looking for the chef, and you start slurring your pulled pork. You're going to be spitting on everybody.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Yeah! It's going to be Aiello on Saturday night, boy. Lit up at the block party.
Lit in capital letters.
Tarps off. Let's go.
I'll just blame the sun. I'll say, a little too much heat.
There will be a certain level of tarps off. It's going to be hot. Like you go to a show in the middle of winter. Like if you go to the right concert, like let's say a Godsmack or a heavier band, like there's going to be some shirts off anyway. But 31 degrees at the Burt Block Party?
I do plan on keeping my shirt on. I can't promise that I won't be sitting on somebody's lap on their lawn chair at some point in the night, though. Just random.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great night. Keep in mind, we have tickets to give away the rest of the week at 7:45 every day with completely useless trivia. Now, this is a conversation that came up on the PJK podcast extra yesterday. So if you listen to the podcast regularly, there are snippets of this conversation that you're going to hear again. I apologize. But I do want to take it in a bit of a different direction. So, Kirby, you brought up yesterday a toilet paper story and how if you use more than 2 squares, it's dangerous.
I saw it's dangerous.
It's not even close to what she said.
Stop spreading fake information. You have people concerned that are using more than 2 squares of toilet
I
paper.
use more than 2 squares.
It has to do with the number of times you wipe.
Okay, there
You can use as much squares as you want, but you're only supposed to wipe no more than 3 times. After 3 times, that's concerning.
3 should be the max.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, according to colon experts.
And thanks to you, I never paid attention to that till yesterday.
Yeah, no, I never.
Now it's
On
in
how
my head.
often you wipe
Yes.
after.
Wow.
And so
Colon experts too. I didn't know you that's another thing. I don't know a lot of colon experts. But next
Are they
time,
doctors? That's all I know. I don't know anybody that's ever come up to me and
there's
said,
a word for
"Here you go. Here's my card." Colon experts, they're doctors, medical people.
the guy who would do a colonoscopy.
Yes.
That type of guy.
He's a
Okay.
doctor.
That doctor.
Or she's a doctor.
yes.
I hope so.
Yes. But they say that, yes, three wipes is max.
You're not walking into a strip mall in the middle of nowhere like it's Better Call Saul, like in New Mexico, and it says colon experts on it. You're going to see a doctor.
A little booth set up.
Yes.
Like I'm a colon expert.
Like you've got a little chip in your windshield set up at the mall outside in a tent.
I trained online for this. I'm
You
good.
got-
Let's have a look.
You guys wouldn't experience this necessarily because there's not multiple stalls in men's washrooms for people to go number 2, is there?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
What are
so
you
maybe you
talking
have
about? Of course
experience.
there
I don't
is.
know what happens in men's washrooms,
There's
honestly.
several.
I just know that there's some urinals.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're in there, have you ever heard somebody next to you just go through a lot of toilet paper? You're thinking to themselves
Well,
I don't know what's going on over there.
That's different because it's like half a ply or one ply.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fold that baby around.
That's right.
That's true.
I don't normally listen to how much that guy's wiping. That is not something I'm trying to get.
I'm very aware of my surroundings.
Sounds like it. I'm trying to get things taken care of and get the hell out of that stall ASAP.
You're right.
I'm not going, wow.
So you don't think about people judging you?
And then I get out of the stall. Hey, buddy, I heard I couldn't help but over here.
Notice.
That you seem to wipe more
Were you
than 3
building a
times.
cast on your arm?
For more Philly Joe and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.